I hope everyone's doing well. I have to share. I truly have to share this. I know this might take me off Instagram, and if it does, that's just what it's supposed to be, but I have to speak out. You guys, we have got to stop living in fear. My journey with John has set me up for this time right now. Between all the lies, deception, the brainwashing, all correlates similar to my journey with John. I've shared before, John was raised in a situation like a cult, which I believe set him to be a good Navy SEAL. But with that comes up other obstacles. As John was healing from this journey and continues to heal, the trauma of the past came to light. I can't really put words in to describe this, but I got to tell you, yeah, you might think I'm crazy saying all this, but the brain is pretty magnificent. The way that he processes things that he repeats, the limbic system is pretty amazing when you're in the fight or flight. I just got to tell you, it's real. The words that he says and the things that he says and the things he recalls, I mean, they're traumatic situations. We have to realize what these situations play in children and the lifelong damage they do. I say this all because as we're going through all this fear and COVID and whatever you want to call it, I just ask you all to just stop for a second and think about what is really going on here. Since when have we had to live in a way that we have to be proven that we're not sick? It doesn't make any sense. So it's like you're proven sick until you show that you're not sick. John and I got COVID at the beginning of the year. Interesting enough, I got it really, really bad. John, on the other hand, just got a fever and was very exhausted. So someone with a traumatic brain injury overcame it better than I did. Myself, I was almost put into the hospital, and I was fighting it as much as I could because the key was who was going to take care of John. He had been exposed. I was running into so many red tape, like, well, you're going to have to put him into a facility, or you're going to have to do this or that. And it just didn't make sense. And I kept fighting, like, can I have something to make me feel better at home? It was getting worse and worse. So I did a lot of research, and thankfully I found a doctor to prescribe something. And within 30 minutes, I got relief. Within 30 minutes. I'm happy to share with anyone what I took, but it's very controversial out there. And I just have to say, there are cures. There are things that you can do. And I'm hearing more and more stories of people that are going into the hospital and not having someone there to advocate for them. And it brings me to the place of my experience with John in the hospital. If I was not by his side, I truly don't know if he would have made it. And I don't put that on myself, like boost myself. It's more the conflicts, the red tape, the just so many obstacles along the way that really shouldn't be there. You know, one shoe doesn't fit everyone. And that's what we have to look at in healing. And in each one of our bodies, one size does not fit all. We have to remember that. And we have to listen to our gut. If something doesn't feel right, go with that. And that's what drove me for it with John. I had faith in God and surrendered it to him. And I listened to him. And there was many times that I would go into the hospital and be like, do not do this. And the doctors would refuse. And I had to fight and advocate. But I feel like those times really saved him. I'll share more of this story as we go forward, as I feel like it's time to kind of go back to those situations and the red tape that I experienced in the healthcare system. fighting for John, as many are having to experience this right now. It's a scary time, and my heart goes out to all those that have become sick, those that have lost someone, those that are currently going through difficult times. I just say, trust your gut, do what you feel is right, and do your research. Really do your research. About a year before, not a year before, but yeah, actually a year before when COVID started, John got actually pretty sick and he had to go to the hospital. And at this time, loved ones weren't allowed to go back. And I sat there and I cried because I felt like I was handing John over to the system, because I knew that if he tested positive for COVID, I was not going to be able to care for him. And it terrified me because of the past experiences we had in the healthcare. It's hard to explain, but, I was the one person that John relied on every day, and that familiarity and that love that I gave him every day. I know if I was in his position, it would give me peace and it would make me feel like living. And I knew that if the circumstance came that they would try to distance us, it would not go well. I was determined if he tested positive, I was going in there with him and I was going to get COVID too, because I had to be there with him. Thankfully, he did not test positive, but I did go back there and they had a mask on him and he had 102 temperature and he was sweating and could not breathe. And I could not believe there was a mask on his face. I removed it right away. Thankfully, within hours of giving him some medicine, he felt good. We got back home and they had actually said he could stay overnight, but I knew that going home was the best place for him to heal. So we got him home, a couple days of recovery, and he felt better. It was not COVID. This was a year before we actually got COVID. But my story and what I want to share is that, what is our purpose here on earth? Are we supposed to fear each other and fear death and fear that we're going to get sick? No. We're supposed to live in the vibration of love. That is our purpose. So as we go through this time right now, I just challenge everyone to really stop and think, what are we doing? Like, what road are we going down? And think about the choices that you have, the willpower you have to speak out and speak for your own health and your own freedoms. Because I truly believe that we are in, if not Revelations, we are coming close to it. And we all need to decide what is most important to us. What is truly most important to us. I choose Jesus Christ and I choose to follow and believe in him, because I know that through this journey, without that faith and that conviction, I would not be where I am today. Miracles do happen. And you must surrender and realize that there is someone above you that loves you and just wants you to knock and open, and he'll open the door to help. But we have to ask and we have to surrender and take away our desire for power. We try to go before him and we try to control. We try to play God here on earth, and that's the last thing we need to do. That's what the devil wants you to believe. He wants to deceive you and make you believe that you have the power and that you don't need God. It's just also twisted. But I just say, just have faith. Be still. Listen to your gut. And know that God always wins.